What's up guys, Jivan back with another how to fight in arena video. In this series I just break down my fights explaining what I did right and how I was able to end fights fast. This is a crucial concept in W-keying. The faster you're able to end a fight, the more fights you'll be able to take and the higher kill wins you'll get. So this video will just help out your fighting sense, but before we get into it, please consider using code JivanTV in the item shop, or at least make sure you're using somebody's code because it helps us out a ton. Now let's get into this video. So some of these clips are a little bit older when the recon scanner was still in the game, but the concepts still apply. Right here, instead of placing just a ramp, you always want to place a high wall as well. This wall will give you an opportunity to piece control them through it and block their shot, just like in this situation. That wall is the reason I won the fight there. So when you're doing a 180 like I was here, get in the habit of placing a high wall as well. It'll make you more protected and give you piece control opportunities. Right off the bat in this next clip, you can see me counter peeking. I ran all the way to the left side of the box, forcing him to take that left-hand peek. If I didn't do that, he might have hit me for a lot more damage. But the rest of this fight, I used really good piece control techniques. Let's slow it down. So I see that he has nothing in his box over there, so I go to piece control out the right side of my box. By hugging my wall here, I have a perfect right-hand peek while piece controlling. After that, he just walks into my right-hand peek and I'm able to get a free shot while resetting my wall, and then I finish it off with a right-hand peek. Getting a lot of piece control like that can give you a lot of advantages in a fight. First thing to note in this next clip, I push up so confidently. I knew he was ramping me, so I want to ramp back and get high ground to start the fight. That'll make him nervous right off the bat, seeing how confident I was, and then I do some nice piece control to finish it. But let's slow down that piece control real quick. Right there, I got a wall in his way. That way he couldn't go all the way up his ramp. So I predict that he's gonna go out one of the sides, so I place a cone in this box. If he walks out that side, I get a free shot. Sure enough, he did, and then I set up a right-hand peek and grab all the missing builds around him, and then finish it with a right-hand peek shot. Biggest thing to note is that I hug my wall while placing the builds around him. It's called piece control from behind cover, so important. Right off the bat in this fight, you'll see me starting it very confidently once again, but you'll also see me taking time to read the situation and how the other player is playing. By doing that, I was able to predict everything he was about to do and destroy him in this fight. Right here, I drop down on the side to try to get an angle, see that he's editing up, so I place this high wall, get a cone over top of him and take a peek shot. And then I saw him moving back to his other box, so I get above and piece control from up top. Taking time to read the other player is so crucial. I talked about it in my video called the most important tip that nobody talks about. So one of the biggest topics on my channel is this ramp phase trick. I love to show examples in these videos, so here's a few. I see he has nothing in his box, so I place a ramp in. The way I do this is crouch up and down while holding my ramp out and looking down and to the left. Then you just have to predict their movement after you get the ramp in the box. Check out a few more examples. It works almost every time. It's the same exact thing in this fight. I started off by trying to get a health advantage, took some nice shots, and then once he boxes up, I do the trick. Here it is in slow motion. Some of the ways I'm able to predict the direction they're gonna go is I try to see which side of their box has nothing built out there. The players usually like to try to expand out a side that doesn't have builds already. That way they have more breathing room. So usually I just sprint to the side where there's no builds already and try to get them on that side. This example is a little different, as you'll see. I got to the side I thought he was gonna go on, but I got there too soon, so then I get to a different side before he can react. So right there I get the ramp in his box, I sprint to the side, but he wasn't reacting yet. So I get to the other side where there's no builds, and that's where he went, and I got the kill. Here's a couple more examples before we get on to a different topic. So in these clips, I just tried to get to their side fast so I could pre-fire them, but you can also do this move by pre-boxing out the side you think they're gonna go on. I've seen more success with just sprinting over there and pre-firing them, but pre-boxing is a really good move as well. The issue with pre-boxing is a lot of times they'll have time to get back into their box and you won't get the kill, but it is the safer option to pre-box because then you can set up a right-hand peek. This next clip is a great example of feeling out the situation before you make a move. I stress it big time, if you take a second to really figure out where the opponent is and what they're doing, it'll give you a much better chance to react and make a calculated piece control play. Even though the recon scanner isn't in the game, you could still try to listen and hear where they are and do this move. I knew they were up 2 layers, so if I did a side jump and then a 180, I'd be able to catch them off guard with this play. When I set up this window peek, I should have gotten more to the left. That way it was more of a right-hand peek, but it still worked out really well here because I reset the wall. Here's another great example of piece control from behind cover and reading the situation. Pay attention to my movement specifically in this fight. I make sure to not take a full-on 50-50. I position myself really nicely to take safe shots. Let me explain. So I get this nice peek shot to start, and because I own this wall in front of me, I can drag cones into his box. And by claiming the wall, I was able to edit through and get the rest of the builds in his box, and I don't over push into his box. I make sure I'm close enough to line up a shot, and then I back up into my box to take the last peek shot. Movement is one of the biggest keys in the game, and that clip was a really good example, and so is this next one. Pay attention to my movement again in this fight. So first step in this fight was just to get him coned off and then the walls around him. We all know resetting this wall can be difficult, so ducking beneath his ramp is a really good move to work around that, just like that. Next fight is just another really good example of piece control from behind cover. It's so crucial to be practicing this concept in Raiders piece control practice maps. As soon as he releases those maps, I make sure to go in and figure out what's the safest way to piece control from behind cover in these maps. One of the biggest things to note in this fight is the fact that you can drag cones so far. For example, look how far I'm placing cones in this fight. You can just quickly drag cones into their box and then they aren't able to ramp off to block your shots. Right here, notice how I get the cones all the way over into his box, and then I just had to claim the wall to set up a peek shot. And that is a GG's, good sir. So next fight we got a little double kill. First thing to notice in this fight is that I have so much breathing room. That's one of the most important things in a box fight situation, is having more than one box to move around in. So let's slow it down. Right off the bat here, I'm able to set up a perfect right-hand peek with my wall because I had two boxes to move around in. And then I missed a shot here, kind of embarrassed about that one. But no need to worry, we were able to clean it up here. I get him full boxed, and if they just have a ramp in the box, you can break the ramp and phase it by standing all the way in the back up against your wall. It works really well. And then this other guy pushes up, and I do a really good piece control play that I learned from Slight back in the day. The piece control move that I'm talking about is dragging a cone. I want to place that cone before I place the wall so then he can't go up. Like you saw him bounce off my cone. And then I see him going out the other side, so I blocked that off and I just had to hit my shot. So we got two more fights to break down. This one, I'm just putting it in here because it was so nasty. This is another one of those examples where if you push up to a fight confidently, sometimes the other player won't even know what to do. So right off the bat, I just had to block his railgun shot. Not in competitive anymore, but it's all good. And so initially I'm trying to get high ground, but I see him building up on this ramp here. So I edit through and get a cone over top of him and then the walls around him, and I just get to the other side fast to set up a right-hand peek. Sometimes it's better to just piece control from the side you initially edited on, but I wanted to clip him, hee. And now last clip is just an IQ play. Initially I get that peek shot from below and then I break him out here. It's always good to look for breakout opportunities. If you see something attached only by one thing, always go for that breakout. But I finished the fight just by doing another one of those cone drag tricks. I dragged that cone over so that he couldn't go up, and I just had to get the walls around him and hit my shot. Anyways guys, I'm going to let this clip play out in slow motion while I do the outro. Thanks for watching, hope you guys enjoyed this video and learned something new. If you did, please consider hitting that like button, subscribing if you're new, using code JivanTV in the item shop, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.